Hello, family. Welcome to another episode of Motherhood in Black and White. I'm Kaanji.
I'm Tara.
And we are excited to be back with you and to welcome you to the conversation. This evening, this morning, this afternoon, whatever it looks like, whenever you're listening to time in 2020 is an amorphous concept.
It's a construct.
I threw my calendar out in March.
I wrote on my kitchen whiteboard calendar, time is a construct, quarantine 2020. It's said that for 4 months now.
5.
Oh, yeah.
Going into the 6th month, so just doing the best we can in this new season of our lives. But today's going to be a little bit different, podcast fam, because today just wanted to talk about joy and happiness and lightheartedness.
Just have a little fun.
Have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And so today, here's a story of a lovely lady who was busy raising a middle schooler of her own. Wait a second. That story has already been taken.
That sounds very familiar.
What does it sound like to you, T?
It sounds very familiar. That transports me right back to sitting in front of my TV by myself in my house.
Marsha.
Growing up.
Watching those Brady Bunch reruns.
Yeah, and remember back in the 1980s when we were growing up, we were both latchkey kids, right?
Correct. That's right.
And it's hard to remember a time when people actually left the house. But growing up, the parents and the adults in my house weren't there. And we were latchkey kids. So I grew up with the television on most of the day.
Same.
I was a TV kid. And so the television and TV moms and TV families kind of transported me. And I was able to see a lot about what other people looked like and what other people have done. And what we wanted to talk about today with each other is how those TV moms kind of influence our motherhood
sort
journey.
of shaped our ideas of what a mom is.
So picture this. What if we think about motherhood in a WWJD?
WWJD.
What would June Cleaver do? What would June Cleaver do? Because think about it, for so many years, June Cleaver was the epitome of the perfect mom.
She was.
You know, she had the perfect house. She had the perfect husband, the perfect kids, the not so perfect neighbor.
That's right.
You know, and
who she loved anyway.
Who's
part of the family.
But everyone, all of us have, you have that one kid that your son is friends with.
I do.
That you kind of wish would just not come over.
I do have that one kid. I do.
And isn't that why we all got Ring doorbells?
That's right.
Good afternoon, Mrs. Cleaver.
Just don't trust a 13-year-old boy that's that polite.
And thinking about June Cleaver, she had this grace about her. She had this loveliness, and her house and everything was all put together.
Always.
And so I said, well, what would June Cleaver do if she was faced with a parenting problem or a parenting issue? But as TV evolved, as cultures evolved, as time has gone on, we had all of these different types of moms that we were able to look to for representation.
Right.
So what we want to do is, we talked a little bit earlier this week about your experience, Tara, and who your top 5 TV moms of all time are.
That's right.
Yeah. And family, I want you guys to think as well. If you think about who are your top 5 TV moms, and maybe think, before we reveal our list, I love the cliffhanger aspect of this.
It's a lot of fun.
It's like building, right? The anticipation.
Right.
So think about who are your top 5 TV moms, and let's see if our lists kind of line up.
Yeah.
Growing up as a latchkey kid, there was a lot of what I did that was dictated by television. You know, not only was my mom not home, but when I went and spent summers with my grandmother, my Medea, down in Nashville, Tennessee, she also wasn't home. But this was before we had things like, you know, remote controls,
right,
and VCRs. So growing up, I was the remote control,
right,
and I was the VCR. My grandmother was a nurse, and she was a Black nurse in Nashville, Tennessee. And before she left to go to work, she would always say, "Baby, I need you to watch the stories for me." The stories. Did you?
I know exactly what the stories are. I do know what the stories are. Yes, ma'am.
The stories are the soap operas. So I would have to, at 7, 8, 9 years old, watch the soap operas.
Yep.
And give my grandmother the full report when she got home from work. I knew everything about, you know,
the
Luke and Laura's wedding,
yes,
Reba and Josh and their love affair. You know, so that was how I was raised. And TV kind of helped to shape me and also formed a lot of my relationships with people. So top 5 TV moms. They might look a little different because we've been alive for a few decades now. Tara.
Yeah, I was thinking about when I was making my list, I was like, this is a lot of fun. It's very fun to go back and think about this, but it is going to date me quite a bit. Like, my list is extremely old. I don't even know if anybody's going to know some of these moms.
Probably not. That's okay. I'm excited to hear your list. So we're going to start the list rundown, and we're going to reveal our number 5 TV moms. You go first, my dear friend.
Oh, my number 5. Okay, so my number 5 is Morticia Addams.
When we're together, darling, every night is Halloween.
Yes, it is. Don't laugh at me. It is Morticia Addams. And here's why. I have very good reasons why. The 2 big reasons are, first of all, she was so sexy. Like, there were no sexy moms on TV. They were all very, put together and very self-contained. There wasn't, a lot of friskiness. But Morticia brought it. She was a very sexy TV mom, and I always thought that was pretty cool. And then number 2, she loved her kids, even though they were super weird. Like, her kids would bring the wildest stuff to the table, and she would be just like, absolutely, that's amazing. That's the best thing you've ever done. I'm like, Wednesday's trying to kill her brother. Like, we might want to check on that. And she would just support them no matter what.
Unconditional support.
She's my number 5.
But she was also the anti-June Cleaver. So Morticia Addams.
That says a lot, by the way. That says a lot about how I grew up. That's who I was looking to for advice.
This is why I love things like this, just getting to know you a little bit better, how your twisted mind works. We blame Morticia Addams.
That's right.
So the number 5 on my list is Florida Evans. So Florida Evans is from the 1970s TV show Good Times, which was a spinoff of another 1970s show, Maude, which was a spinoff of All in the Family. And one of the reasons why I have Florida Evans on my list, other than the fact that I've seen every episode of Good Times 50, 60 times over.
Yeah.
It was always on in the afternoons and on the weekends, was because she was raising 3 kids, and that family actually looked a lot like mine growing up. It was a mother and father, but, shout out James Evans, who was no longer with us towards the last few seasons.
Stay home.
He had contract negotiations apparently with a problem. James was tragically killed off camera, but it was the older brother who was a skinny older brother, JJ.
Yes.
And it all belongs to Kid Dynamite!
And that was my older brother. My older
that.
brother was a skinny comedian who I loved, and then the middle daughter and the younger son. So it looked like my family growing up, and I loved it. And I liked how Florida did what she needed to take care of her family. And then she had the neighbor, and, Janet Jackson was on the show. So I liked the fact that that was the first time for me that I was able to see a reflection of what looked like my family on TV.
Right.
So Florida Evans in Good Times, my number 5. I love you, Florida Evans. And I'm going to say this for you. I know this is a PG show. Damn.
That's right.
Okay, so number 4, who you got?
Number 4. So number 4, I have Mrs. Cunningham, also known as Mrs. C from Happy Days. And the reason that I really loved her when I would watch that show growing up is that she was everybody's mom.
Yeah.
So, she had her own kids, but she also mothered all of their friends. They were always at her house,
Always at her house.
In and out. And I love that she was the only one who could call Fonzie Arthur by his first name. I loved that.
Oh, you've given me new hope, Arthur.
Hey, that's what I'm here for.
She had a little talk back to her. You know what I mean? She was in the 50s era on the show, but she didn't take a lot of mess.
I'm going to bed.
Yeah, but sweetheart, it's gotta be warmed up.
Howard, sit on it.
She definitely gave it back, which I could appreciate that about her. And, later in life, she went back to work. And I just loved that even though she was kind of an era where she was kind of against the grain in that way, she had a little bit of sass to her, but she was also such a great, warm, inviting person for all of her kids and their friends. I love that.
What was your favorite episode of Happy Days?
Oh, I knew you were going to ask me that. So I was a big Mork and Mindy fan. So, of course, I loved it when Mork was on.
Nanu.
But I always think about, for some reason, it just got stuck in my brain, I guess because it's such a part of pop culture vernacular now, but the whole jumping the shark episode.
Yeah.
I just always, when I think, I know there's 100 more to choose from, but I always think of that one because it always just cracks me up that it became this thing that turned into its own phenomenon.
Here we go, Fonz. I'm heading for the Ram. Are you sure you want to do it?
I liked Happy Days, but again, just didn't really look like my family. But it looked like what I wanted my family to look like. Not in terms of the color, but in terms of the stability of it,
Yes. Yeah, I get that.
And I think also that when we look at Happy Days, And I can see that you have taken a part of Mrs. C's personality from that because you're the den mother, you're the cub mother. And I don't know if our family knows this about you, but
I'm a den leader.
You're a den leader.
Yes, I'm a den leader in Cub Scouts. So I have 5 little guys that I've been their den leader, for 4 years now, which blows my mind. But yep, I teach them how to do stuff, and I have them in my house. And I'll just say, very similar to your experience, I was also on my own a lot as a kid, and in a lot of ways sort of untethered in general. And so I often look to my friends' parents to help me, or my aunts to take care of me. And so I always loved that I got some of that love and affection, in extended family members and friends. And so when I saw, Miss C was kind of like that, and I always wanted to be that mom who was like, you can all come to me. My house is always open. That was always sort of something I wanted to do or be. All right, Kaanji, so what's your number 4?
Your number 4 had Arthur Fonzarelli, who was a fantastic motorcyclist.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it when he jumped the shark.
Mm-hmm.
And my number 4 actually also has a motorcycle component in it.
Okay.
My number 4 mom is Gemma Teller-Morrell from Sons of Anarchy.
She was on my alternate list.
There is no alternate list.
So evil.
Evil.
I mean,
Loving.
yeah.
She loved her son Jax.
True.
And the reason I put her on this is because she was that fierce tiger mom.
Yeah.
You stay away from my family.
Oh, what? You gonna kill me, Gemma? Huh? Like you did the first husband?
You stay away from me, you son of a...
And as we all know, there is nothing she would not do for her baby boy.
Nothing.
And that is absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing she would not do.
Every time I said your name the first year I knew you, Tara, I'd be like, Tara.
Oh, I know. I
Like
remember
Jax
you
would say,
telling me
remember?
that. I say your name like Jax says it on Sons of Anarchy. I'm
you
like,
never
you
heard
do,
that
actually.
before.
I love you, Tara.
But having a mom of a son who was in a motorcycle game, she might have been a little too accepting.
Yeah, maybe.
She was a little too permissive.
A little bit, maybe.
But also, we talked about Morticia Addams showing unconditional love. That was Gemma Teller showing it. And I like that Sons of Anarchy showed a different type of mom.
That's true.
She was the anti-June Cleaver.
Yes. She was super fierce about, even how she loved her grandkids, and it was always about the family. So I get
Always
that.
about the family,
Always
yeah.
about the family, yes, and keeping everybody together.
I love you, Jackson, from the deepest, purest part of my heart. You have to do this till we are, sweetheart. My baby boy.
So that was why Gemma from Sons of Anarchy is my number 4.
Number 4.
So, family, if you had Gemma Teller on your top 5 list, please reach out to me because I think that we will automatically be really good friends.
Yeah, go ahead and mark that bingo card because you just won. You just won the Kaanji bingo. That was a surprise.
I thought it
That's
would be.
a good one.
So, number 3, who's number 3 on your list?
Okay, so number 3, I'm going to come forward a little bit and pick Joyce Byer from Stranger Things.
I have never heard that name before.
Never?
In my life.
Have you watched Stranger Things?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Kaanji.
Yeah.
You gotta watch Stranger Things. Okay, so Joyce Byer is played by Winona Ryder. And Stranger Things was a show that came out, I'm not gonna get it right, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, Netflix. Well, essentially what happens is her son, he disappears.
He's my son, Hop. My son. I'm going.
And what's going on in this city is there's this, they call it the Upside Down, and it's basically like this demonic place that's kind of underneath the regular place. It's like if you go into it, it looks like the city, but it's covered in slime and guts and monsters. Her son disappears, and everybody's like, oh, we can't find him. And she's like, no. And she goes and spends all this time figuring out how to communicate with him and like goes into this slimy upside down place and gets her son out of there. And she goes and she gets him. She never gives up.
You took my boy away from me. You left him in that place to die.
And then when he's back, he's weird. He had this crazy traumatic experience. And so like in season 2, you get to kind of watch him navigate that. And she just never quits on him. And she has 2 sons. She has an older son and her younger son. And she just always supports them, is always there to like fight for them and make it better. And she never gave up on him. And I just loved her in that.
Joyce Byer is her name?
Joyce Byer, yep.
Have you ever had your son disappear?
No, not for more than like a minute and a half. And that was long enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had a moment in a store one time where I like flipped around a couple of times and you have that like panic for just a second. And I made it to track him down pretty quickly.
We lost Roman at the Texas State Fair.
You did?
Yes. And it was the most terrifying, I would say 2 hours, but I know it was only about 17 or 18 minutes.
Oh my God.
But when Roman was about 4 years old, we were at the Texas State Fair. And for our family that's listening, if you're listening in, Texas, of course, everything is bigger in Texas. And back then they had these inflatable bounce houses.
Right.
And they had the inflatable slide.
Okay.
And he wanted to go down the inflatable slide. And we were in an indoor section of the State Fair. And my husband and I were standing next to each other. And I told my husband, I said, hey, you go stand at the end of the slide house. It was like the little bouncy house, obstacle course, everything. And it was packed. There were kids everywhere and everyone looked the same. And I was standing at the front. And so I see Roman go into the obstacle course, knowing that my husband is on the other end of it. And a couple of minutes later, I walk to the end and my husband is standing there and Roman's nowhere to be found.
Oh my God.
And I said, where's Roman?
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't know. And unbeknownst to us, Joey was standing on the right side of the slide at the very end. And as soon as Roman got off, he darted off to the left.
Oh,
so,
man.
But no one knew where he was.
Oh, God.
And automatically, I started shrieking. And we started looking around. And Joey ran back through the slide. And we were tearing everything up. And in that moment, I got a security guard. I said, our son is missing. And the security guard got on the walkie-talkie. And they closed and locked all of the doors. They locked everyone in. And they said, ma'am, what is he wearing? And Tara, I closed my eyes.
Oh, gosh.
And I could not remember what he was wearing. And there was, Joey is kind of yelling at me and I'm yelling at him.
The hell am I supposed to think? You're such a great mom? You're a mess!
Don't you dare! At least I was here!
Oh, come on, Joyce. Just look around at this place.
And every emotion I had in that moment was just panic and sheer terror. I couldn't remember what he was wearing. It was just something that simple.
Yeah.
I had no idea. So after a few minutes and we're all walking through the pavilion, someone found him. A security guard found him and was holding his hand. And just what happened. Like I mentioned to you, he got off the slide and he ran to the left and he went and he found someone in uniform that he trusted, that he felt safe with. And that person held him until they were able to find us.
Yeah.
And we would love to be the moms that never had those experiences.
Right.
Yeah. I would love to say that I've never lost my kid.
Yeah, I hear
but
you.
I did. And I try to do everything right. And again, I say what would June Cleaver do? Because that's not something that is ever portrayed on TV. But when it is portrayed, a lot of times it has the unhappy ending.
Right.
Talk about guilt, for years.
Yeah.
But then also the panic, he's never going back on a bouncy house ever again.
My palms are sweating just listening to your story.
Yeah.
I totally know how that feels.
And so I've never seen Stranger Things. I don't know if I would be able to, because when you talk about losing a child,
reignites that panic.
Yeah. No, not ready to go back there. Not ready to go back there at all.
Yeah. Well, spoiler alert. She finds him. It's okay. You can do it.
Happy ending. I love it.
It's not totally happy. It still gets weird, but he's okay. He makes it back.
We get a happy ending. And you know what? Happy ending of my life, because my husband found our son.
Oh my gosh.
And yeah, he's here right now practicing his bassoon. He started playing bassoon this year, 6th grade.
Oh, wow.
All interesting, all good stuff. This week he's been playing the bassoon.
Fun times.
Yeah. You're such an optimist.
I mean, I do my best.
We're just gonna what we're gonna do?
What's that?
We're gonna keep Q-tip in business by just getting some cotton swabs in my ears for the next year.
That's right. Get you some of those good earplugs.
Good earplugs. So my number 3 is also a newish character.
Okay.
She's newish from a TV show that's been on the air for a few years. The TV show is Blackish. And the character is Rainbow Johnson, the matriarch of that family.
Listen, we both have huge jobs, but when I come home from mine, from, saving lives and whatnot, I start a whole other second huge job. When you come home, you play video games.
Hey, that is ridiculous.
I love the TV show Blackish. And I know that a lot of people don't watch the TV show, unfortunately, because of the title and the name. I've heard a lot of my white friends say, oh, that's a TV show for Black people. I don't watch it. Family, if you have not seen this show, let me tell you, you are missing out, because it is not about Black people. It's not just about the Black experience. It's about the family experience.
Right.
And something that a lot of TV shows in the 80s did so well, like Family Ties or Cosby Show, or even if you're going to talk about the early 2000s, Gilmore Girls, is you show real experiences of people and families that don't look like the traditional family,
right,
but actually are just how families in America look now.
Yeah.
And so Rainbow Johnson is a working mother. She's a doctor. She has 5 kids. She has a husband who's an executive. They live in an upper class section of Los Angeles. And Rainbow Johnson is the antithesis to a Florida Evans. You know, Florida Evans was the representation that we saw of the Black women in the 1970s. We saw that kind of family in the 1970s.
Yeah.
And that was the portrayal, the media portrayal of Black people. You would have them living in the ghetto,
Right.
Living in the projects, and striving and surviving, and in spite of and maybe because of it. Rainbow Johnson and the Johnsons are on the come up. They have come up. They have
Just
arrived.
fine.
Yes, but that's how a lot of Black America lives. You know, you have a large majority of Black America that looks like the Rainbow Johnsons and the Johnson family. But for so many years, for so many decades, all we saw and the portrayals were of the element that the media wanted us to portray. And it took a long time
Like
to
more-
have the representation.
Yeah, like more poverty and
Yeah.
like struggle all the time and
Right.
you know,
Single moms.
correct. Yes.
So seeing someone that looks like Rainbow who has the experience that is very similar to kind of what I've had.
Yeah.
Love it.
You saw Roots, right?
You know I did, black man.
No, you didn't.
I did not, black man.
Okay, look. There's a scene in the movie where Kunta Kinte.
Oh, what is that? I don't know what that is.
LeVar Burton.
Oh, Reading Rainbow.
The black dude from Star Trek.
Okay, well, unlike you, Dre, I'm not just gonna celebrate any girl that Junior brings home. What if she's mean? What if she's dumb? What if they don't have anything in common?
Alayapi gin snack.
Bo atchilar, me smells a laughy onions.
Megan! How'd you two meet?
I was actually coming down the hall when I noticed him. A couple of freshmen were trying to take his backpack.
You should have seen Megan confront those girls. She was amazing. Well, I mean, Megan's amazing at everything.
Love it. She's my number 3.
Yeah, I am ashamed to say I haven't watched Blackish, not because it's a Black family, but just I got out of the sitcom business a few years ago, and I have another friend, and she's like, "You got to watch this one." I'm like, "You're right. I need to sit down and do it." But I did watch Black AF on Netflix, which was Kenya Barris's kind of more like what he says his real family's a little bit like.
Right.
And
Kenya Barris is the executive producer and the showrunner for Blackish.
That's right. Yeah. So I watched Black AF and I really enjoyed it. And I keep telling myself I need to go back and go through Blackish because I've heard it's phenomenal.
We have to have your son and husband over one day and just do like a TV marathon.
That would be cool. We could do that.
I don't think they would like it.
I will tell you, my husband can't sit still that long, but he'll come up here and mess around with the music stuff. Okay, that sounds good.
All right, so number 2 on your list, we're getting towards the end of our list.
That's right. So number 2, I'm going to take it back again, and I'm not going to say her name right. I don't know why all of a sudden I'm worried about mispronouncing it, but Sophia Petrillo.
Oh.
Sophia Petrillo is my number 2.
She was on my alternate list.
Was she? Yes, she's a good one. And
from the Golden Girls.
From the Golden Girls, that's right. And what I loved about her is that, she was living with her adult daughter, quite adult, a daughter, much older, and her friends. And even though her daughter was well past middle age and retirement age, and they were living together, they still had this really tender relationship. I mean, she was super sassy and she gave them, trouble all the time. Obviously, she was hilarious. But in those moments where she really needed to be, you could just tell, like, she obviously still loved her daughter and wanted the best for her daughter and would really hype her up when she needed it.
I wouldn't give up having you for anything in the world.
Thanks, Ma.
And I knew you'd be special.
And I didn't disappoint you?
A little.
The theme for me is obviously, I like them a little sassy and a little tender. I like a little bit of both in my mom on TV. So.
Listen, you are never too old for mama. When I call and text my mom, if she don't answer the phone, I'm like, what are you doing in this world that is more important than talking to me?
I should be number 1.
Always.
You
never get too old for your mama. So I love that. I loved that show, and I love Sophia Petrillo, and I love the actress that played her.
Estelle Getty.
Estelle Getty,
that's right.
And B. Arthur. Shout out to B. Arthur from Maude.
That's right.
B. Arthur.
They made him good back then.
Yeah, she was such a fabulous comedian.
Yeah.
And this is my mother, Sophia.
It's nice to meet y'all.
So, Becky, what brings you to Miami? My guess is a small barge.
That show, even though you watch parts of it now, so much of it still resonates today.
Yeah, I will still get in a rabbit hole sometimes. They have these compilations on YouTube of like Sophia's best burns. And I will get in there and I will just write them all down.
I said it before and I'll say it again. Sluts just heal quicker.
Mel makes me feel young and beautiful and special. When we're together, we laugh a lot.
Why wouldn't you? You're both naked.
So now I'll know where you get all your comedy bits from.
That's right.
Sophia Petrillo said,
Yeah. Sarcastic Italian humor. That's my vibe.
You do have very sarcastic humor and wit. Family, if you only knew. And you're going to find out more as you get to know Tara as we keep
better.
going. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and what was so funny, I remember watching that show when I was younger, and my mom would point out that even though she plays the mom on that show, she was actually, I think, maybe one of the younger members of that cast, which was really funny to me. I still think she's one of the funniest female characters we've seen on TV ever.
Long time.
Hilarious.
I loved it.
So funny.
My number 2 is actually not from a comedy.
Okay.
It's from a drama. And my number 2 mom is Meredith Grey from Grey's Anatomy.
Ooh, another new one. You're showing me up. I'm in the old stuff.
I'm older than you, but I'm trying to keep it current.
I like it.
I don't know anything about Stranger Things, but I know everything about Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah.
So Meredith Grey has personified what a working mom can be. And the trajectory of her career and her motherhood journey has been on display because the show's been on the air for like 18 years.
Right.
So we were able to see who she was before child and after delivery. And I've said this to you before, Tara. I say to a lot of people that my life is not about high school, college, 20s, 30s anymore. I separate my life into 2 realms, BC and AD. So BC is before child and AD is after delivery. And Meredith Grey, because she's come so far as a character, we've been able to see so much of her life. We know who she was before she had kids and the parts of her that have changed some and who she is now that she has her 3 kids, including an adopted Black daughter.
Yep.
The showrunners there, shout out to Shonda Rhimes. I love the way that they just talk about having a multicultural, multi-ethnic cast.
Yeah.
And Meredith Grey, who's gone through so much heartache and pain, she just keeps it together and keeps on living. She's fantastic. She's fierce. I know she's fake, but
yeah, no, I agree with you. I watched Grey's Anatomy right up until spoiler alert, Derek died.
You don't remember me, Meredith, but I remember you as the coward who stood over my dying husband.
You're gonna be fine.
The love of my life.
So after that, I couldn't come back. I watched it straight all the way through. And then when he died, I was like, I'm out. I can't do it anymore. And I've gone back a few times just to catch up a little bit and see what everybody's doing. But her motherhood journey was so interesting with, the adoption first and then having kids sort of surprisingly. And then one after Derek passed away.
Yeah.
And, but I always loved that about that entire cast because they had a few people on that show that were super high powered working moms that had babies while they were in this really high stress job. Dr. Bailey did it and then Meredith did it. And I just remember watching that and being like, I don't know if I could have a baby while I had that job.
Let me digress a little bit. So let me ask you a question about your motherhood journey. I know a lot about you, AD.
Yep.
Tell me a story about you, BC, before child.
Before child?
I know. You're like, what is that like?
Oh, gosh.
Tell us a little something about you, BC.
What's hard about BC AD is that the memories get a little fuzzy AD, right? I almost cannot remember what it was like before I had a kid.
I'll tell you in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Before we had kids, there were brunches.
Oh my gosh.
There was sleeping in.
Yeah.
There were long walks in the park.
Well, we talked.
There were R-rated TV shows.
So many all the time, up all night. Yeah. So, we talked a little bit about, you remember I was pregnant. I was in college. I was finishing my degree and I was a late bloomer on that. So I was in my late 20s, early 30s when I had Gage. So before Gage, I was a college student going at night and, full-time working during the day. And I think the biggest part of my life outside of just that stuff was I was a runner. I am a runner. And before Gage, I was constantly like training for races and traveling for races. I was going out of town all the time, hanging out with my friends, long Saturday mornings running. I mean, I don't even know what I'd do with that kind of time in my life these days.
Let's have you train for a race in 2021. Can I be your cheerleader and you just run?
I'm actually training for one right now. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I've got a half marathon coming in December.
Okay. So we're going to be your
Hold me
accountable. We will. So fam, let's make sure that Tara's training goes well as she is preparing for her half marathon in December. Okay. So this is the interesting thing. We've gotten to number 1.
Yes.
Here is what's interesting. There are a couple of really famous TV moms that have not been on either of our lists yet.
That's right.
And so I'm anxious and wondering if we have the same number 1.
Mm-hmm.
So there's 2 moms that I'm thinking about.
Okay.
And I think your number 1 is going to be one of these 2. I think it's either Carol Brady or Claire Huxtable.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That's right. So my number 1... You want to do it at the same time and see what happens?
No. Our podcast producer would not like us.
Okay. So my number 1 is Claire Huxtable.
Oh,
yeah,
from the Cosby Show,
That's
the
right.
1980s.
Yes.
How you doing, Alvin?
Hi, Dr. Huxtable.
How are you?
Thanks for letting me in.
It's okay.
Hi, Mrs. Huxtable.
Hello, Elvin.
Is Sandra ready?
Well, not yet, but she'll be down in a little while. Would you and Dr. Huxtable like some coffee?
Coffee?
Yeah, coffee.
You mean you're gonna get it?
Yes? You're surprised?
I'm sorry, Mrs. Huxtable. I didn't think you did that kind of thing.
What kind of thing?
You know, serve.
Serve whom?
Serve him.
Oh, serve him! As in serve your man?
Well, yeah.
Let me tell you something, Elvin. You see, I am not serving Dr. Huxtable, okay?
Okay.
That's the kind of thing that goes on in a restaurant. Now, I'm going to bring him a cup of coffee, just like he brought me a cup of coffee this morning. And that, young man, is what marriage is made of. It is give and take 50-50. And if you don't get it together and drop these macho attitudes, you are never going to have anybody bringing you anything, anywhere, any place, anytime, ever.
That show started when I was old enough to start from the beginning. So all the shows I've mentioned, except for Stranger Things, obviously, but all those older shows I've mentioned already, I kind of watched them in reruns as a kid. But the Cosby Show started when I was old enough to be there on day 1. And so I started with that family from the very beginning. And obviously, Claire Huxtable, played by the amazing Felicia Rashad.
Yes.
And what I loved about her as a mother, and it tracks for me clearly, is a whole lot of sass. She did not take any mess.
All 5 of yours, I see.
They're very sassy, very sassy. But she was also just really strong. She was also a working mother and a very high power, she's an attorney, like this lovely mother sitting across from me right now.
Thank you.
And, so she worked outside the home, and she, there was no excuses made about that. She didn't pull any punches about it or have any guilt and shame about it, which is sometimes in TV shows where the moms work. She was equal in her relationship. She was equal in the house, if not the boss, obviously. And I loved how she taught her kids. Like when they would teach those Cosby children, and there were a lot of them, they would teach those Cosby children, lessons or try to help them through tough times. I really appreciated how they tried to show their kids how to work through that stuff.
Yeah.
It didn't feel as canned as some of like the earlier shows I would watch. It felt like some of that stuff was really groundbreaking, and I was thinking earlier about like what show sticks out to me. And do you remember when it was Theo, right, who thought he was grown, or was it Vanessa? Who was it? And
all her kids thought they were grown, but she put them in their place quickly. When Theo was trying to live on his own.
Yes. And he like came downstairs and had breakfast, and they tried to charge him for it, and they charged him rent. And like I love that episode. It always makes me laugh.
Hey, Dad, how you doing?
Who?
Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, Mr. Landlord.
My name is Harley. Harley Weewax.
Okay, Mr. Weewax, my name is Theodore Huxtable.
Huxtable, yes. Your folks were by here. Very nice people. Said to give you this. There you go.
Dear Theo, here's $2,000 to get started. Good luck. We love you very much, Mom and Dad.
Beautiful people.
This is play money.
It's good here.
Great. With $2 grand in my pocket, I'll be set.
All right. Well, we want to welcome you to the Real World of Partners. Take a look at this. As you can see, the woodwork here is all hand done. Hi, Millie.
Hi, Harley.
How's everything?
I just remember thinking as a kid, not to get too deep on it, but like I've already touched on, I spent a lot of time alone, and I kind of raised myself and kind of raised my brother very self-sufficient. And I just remember watching that show and being like, that family really loves each other and they care about each other, they take care of each other. And I just loved it. And loved it. I wanted her to be my mom so bad.
And America loved The Cosby Show because it was the #1 show in the country for years. And spoiler alert, Claire Huxtable was my #1 too. She just...
I just knew it.
You knew it, right?
I did.
She obliterated the myth that Black women could not do and be anything.
Yes.
And that was what I saw. Because when that show came on the air, I was 10, maybe 11 years old. And every Thursday night at 8 o'clock, my family sat down and watched The Cosby Show.
Yeah.
And every Thursday at 8 o'clock, so many families we knew sat down and watched it. And this was before VCRs.
Yes,
my family didn't
that's
have
right.
VCR.
There was no pausing. There was no recording.
And over the weekend, people would get together and talk about what happened on that episode. And it just showed a normal Black family. And she was career, life, beauty, and family goals all in one. She was an attorney. She spoke Spanish. She had a good relationship.
God, I forgot she
Yo
spoke
hablo
Spanish.
español también,
That's
¿tú
right.
sabes?
She sang with Stevie Wonder. I was like, come on now. She can do all stuff. I can't speak Spanish, so you go, girl.
Yo puedo. Yo viví en Ecuador hace mucho tiempo.
I bow down.
But that's why I speak Spanish, y'all. Shout out to Claire Huxtable. But I remember
Put it on your life goals. I'm going to be like Claire Huxtable. I need to speak Spanish.
It's like, I'm moving to Ecuador to speak Spanish to Claire Huxtable. I was
hilarious.
like, did not marry a doctor, but also didn't marry Bill Cosby. So, that's what's the hard part, because I love that show, but also feel a little icky watching it now.
The legacy is
legacy is tarnished. But what is not tarnished are the images that character represented and continues to represent, because she just showed as the matriarch of a family that she was a matriarch of a family. And I think in the 80s that white Americans watched the show, Black Americans watched the show. People loved the Cosby Show. It just transcended race, color, socioeconomic lines, kind of the way that Roseanne did, but not to as big of an extent, because it wasn't as big in a lot of Black communities.
Right,
but still super funny.
But it's interesting because we do this podcast where we're sharing different experiences from like my perspective as a white mom and your perspective as a Black mom. But yet our first #1, we both got the #1. We both hit Claire Huxtable because she wins.
Hands down. So if you have Claire Huxtable on your list, family, you also win.
Yep.
But you're winning in life anyway. Remember that, and always remember that WWJD, what would June Cleaver do?
That's right.
Doesn't matter. What you're
Not at
doing,
all.
it's just fine. You are creating your own story and your own representation, and be happy with what it is and whatever it looks like, because it's just fine.
Yeah. I think the June Cleaver myth definitely set up a generation of women, bless their hearts, to think it has to look a certain way. And I love that I've seen, and it's interesting, you can see it in TV, the progression of what a mom looks like, just as we've gone through the ones we've talked about today. And then, through the decades, we've kind of bounced around, but you can see like from June Cleaver, who was sort of the quintessential first family of it. And then as it's changed, there's so many different iterations. So we've got a bunch of examples to look at.
And it should be that way, because motherhood looks different
for everyone.
Yeah. There is no one way motherhood looks. There is no one way a mom looks. You have single moms. You have mothers who've been divorced. You have mothers who had kids when they were teenagers. You have mothers who are in lesbian relationships. You have mothers of only children. You have some moms that have 5 kids.
Yep.
It's going to look different.
Yeah.
Wherever you live, whatever you're doing, just keep on doing it. And some days motherhood looks like it can be a comedy. Sometimes it's a drama.
Every day it looks like a comedy in my house.
That is so good.
Getting it wrong all the time.
And please listen in next week for our special Labor Day episode, where Tara and I are going to share our labor stories, and a few of our friends will join us as well. And we hope that you will join the conversation. As always, thank you so much for joining and listening in. And we look forward to that Labor Day weekend.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys, for joining us. As usual, we appreciate you sharing the podcast with your friends, listening. Remember that on Apple and on Google, make sure that you leave a review for us and you subscribe. And then on Spotify, you can follow us. But we love those 5-star reviews, and we love to read your feedback. So make sure you keep sharing with us.
Take good care. Thank you, Mr. Podcast Producer. Am I supposed to go?
I think so.
I was waiting for him to do.
I feel like he's always recording us at this point.
I am. 5, 4, 3, 2,